Of course, the proposed density that was discussed, I guess it began last year, or was it even the year before, is a high density. And we know to a certain degree that that is going to be a strong issue. So how do we mitigate that is really key. How do we refine guidelines and programming and location of uses is really key. I think it's a good memo. Thank you for that. It's what was informally discussed, but, and I appreciate that you mentioned mix of residents from East Cambridge, Port, / Area 4 and Wellington, Harrington. I would add Kendall Square. I know you were going to do this anyway, but be very specific that there's, I'm assuming, 4 people, one from each of those, one rep from each of those groups, and you're probably going to have 4 to balance it or something like that. However, I know this has been discussed. We know, or you know, I don't think we know, maybe some of us know who the developer finalists are. And all of them, we're told, have a connection to Cambridge, or at least have worked here or own land here. I don't see how any of them can be on this committee. Whenever I go after work as an urban design architect, I'm not part of the programming committee. So all I'm getting at is we need to get other people. All I'm getting at is we need to get other people other than the possible team development. And I can tell by your face that is indeed your position, and I'm very happy. I wasn't clear.
Good face reader, I think.
So you agree. That's great. So choosing those people, just like the neighborhood people aren't, I would assume in some ways, not professionally trained in urban design or finance, but are well attuned to what's happening. I assume that some of the Kendall Square business people will be leaders within that community. Some might be developers. I don't know if there are any left, but people with financial background. And maybe it's somebody outside of Kendall Square who's in business who might contribute to that team. My question really started with, I was afraid that one of the development teams might be on this board or somebody affiliated with that. That's great to hear that that's not it. What wasn't discussed was, although it's written about, is the consultant you've hired,
yes,
which I'm not even sure if that's official yet. Urban design consultant.
Yes, so through you, Madam Chair. So we intend to use the urban design consultant to help guide the members of the team so that they can, people can express their ideas, and then we can have that put into language which I think will be more meaningful to the council.
That's great. And I think that consultant, in a way, wants to do certain, you probably have a program already, but certain analysis, and that analysis might be what is development if all 14 acres are used, integrating Volpe, which doesn't want to be integrated, or what does Volpe mean if indeed it's 3 acres, whatever their program is, what does that actually represent in 3 dimensions? And there might be other analyses that are associated with that. So it's really clear from the beginning what the visual representation is. That might change, but I'm truly hoping we have an urban design plan in the end that addresses the needs, and it says what the city, it expresses what the council, the planning office, the city manager wants, and then that becomes our guide that we evaluate the development proposal. Because without that, we will lose potentially many of the points, the parameters that we're hoping to set. And we all want a win-win here. And it's possible. There's no question in my mind that's possible. But integrating with the existing residents, buildings that exist, things that you already want to do. But that's what I see as part of the parameters. How to link the road system or public way into the MXD. And that's one thing that I hope the MXD, Boston Properties, they said they would, that they'll work with us on this. There seems to be an interest. Those kinds of things that I'm sure you want to do, but I really want to clarify it, and if not in council, in the ordinance committee, and then in council. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor.